Hello guys, this is going to be a comprehensive Left 4 Dead 2 video just mainly for beginners or new players that want to get into the game and have not been able to like perform or optimize this particular game. Uh, I am going to focus on the single player aspects of this game mainly. I feel like multiplayer in this game, well, there's some aspects of this guide that will align with multiplayer as well. I will also go over some single player aspects of it. But to give a general overview of this guide, it's going to be game settings, launch options. Those two things, probably the beginners may have the most questions about such an older particular game. Number two, bots or the AI configuration or how you can modify the AI in single player in particular to be a little bit or much better than the stock current bots of the update. Even with the update. And then we're going to do keybinds, developer console, auto execute files. Those three particular things are very important for making the game much more, well, a much better experience, pretty much. I mean, to give an example, I would say I used to bind every single key to a particular developer console command, and that was not efficient, of course. That was very time consuming. So I replaced it, of course, with just one key, and it performs the whole file, and all my binds were just copied into one auto execute file. You will find out it's like one key activates all the commands, pretty much, and that's way more efficient. If you don't know how to do that, then um, you will learn. We have third person. If you want to do third person, if you want to do first person, there's probably way more guides for first person than third person because I haven't seen as many guides for third person. Quality of life features, just things that you can improve on when it comes to being in the game. And just, there's going to be a bit of mods in there, possibly, because the modding is going to be the last thing. And then we're obviously focused on single player aspects of the game. Not really multiplayer-ish, like lag compensation or diagnosing like how to make the best multiplayer experience, but that may come in the future, or hopefully somebody else will make that guide, because I'm not too keen on modifying online or competitive type of gameplay. I mean, online's already pretty good. Last things we go over is modding or mods. Well, we won't go over modding. We're going to do troubleshooting though as well. Troubleshooting, which is just, doing the general things, which is just verifying the files, testing components of the game, teaching you how to enable and disable your mods pretty much to diagnose a little bit. There are some mods that function better than others, obviously, if you don't know that. So yeah, that's pretty much what we're going to be going over. OBS is still going, very good. The game is still running, just checking here real quick. All right, very good. Give me 1 second here. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna pretend the game is not open right now and that you've just installed the game. So of course you go to home, library, Left 4 Dead 2 is there. You obviously, before you run it, I would suggest a couple things. I hope your PC can run it because you just want to make sure that's out of the way, of course. So we're going to first dive into launch options. So you go to the settings here, cog, properties, okay? Then after you do that, you got general settings. What you want to do is go to the bottom. You got launch options. These are my launch options here. Now, I know you can't read it very good because there's something wrong with it or just not displaying properly there. So I'm just going to copy it onto a notepad. So let's have that notepad up. There we go. My computer is not as fast as I'd like it to be, but for all intents and purposes, we are just running this for now. Okay, so these are the launch option commands that I'm using right now. And I will briefly explain the first command is one of the most important commands if you want to play with bots, of course. This has been a launch command for quite some time. I think it was mainly in Left 4 Dead 2 that this launch command appeared, as far as I can remember. But this pretty much allows you to use a command, a developer console command, which we will go over, to allow all bot survivor team, which is pretty self-explanatory. One just stands for it being on, of course. The next setting, this is probably just a placebo. It just doesn't work at all. I just left it on there. SB allow leading. SB pretty much stands for the bots. Survivor bot allow leading. One is on. Dash LV. All the semicolons are just little commas in C++ language, of course, or just if you don't know that. You don't have to include semicolons, but I just did it anyway, um, just to make it look a little bit better. Or you can just exclude it because it's not too many. So dash LV just means low violence. Now this makes the game pretty much like the experience of like when it first launched for like a Australia, I believe, when they didn't want too much gore. But this actually reduces frames per second or increases frames per second and the crucial overall performance. If you do not care for this game actually does have pretty good gore animations. So if you don't care about all the gore and just want a little bit more frames, if your PC maybe is more better than mine, you probably don't even care about that. This all use all available cores is probably a placebo I've not gotten rid of yet. You know, that's just I just left it there so far. You probably won't need that one, but you can put it on there. Won't hurt nothing if it's not functioning right. So far, it's not done that. Plus auto execute.cfg is pretty much runs a file with a particular set of commands that run a particular set of developer console, yes, commands uh, with cheats on. So this mainly works. Well, the reason it's in this launch option folder, which is once the game launch, it executes each and every last prompt here, like an auto execute file. And we will go over how to make one or create one, and that will pretty much be explained as well. And then the contents of this file are also explained uh, a bit down the road or down the line here. Let's see, matte motion blur percentage. This is pretty much disables motion blur. I just put it in this particular launch options command or prompt. You can probably put this in the auto execute file or auto execute configuration file. Probably just work the same. The pluses here just it's pretty much like the minus sign, I believe. The dash just segregates or separates the commands as well as this right here. Semicolons. Let's see, no vid. So when we apply no vid, that just skips the video when you launch the game, essentially. So those are the launch commands you will want to have in there. And yeah, we will go into game settings next. So let's say now you want to launch it. Now the first thing you'll notice is that the video didn't launch if you've already launched it prior. It saves a little bit of time, just it's not a big deal to do that. Low violence is a big deal, of course, just because of frames. When you go into, let's see, options, and then you go to video, you want to preferably play full screen. It'll be the most optimized for Windows 10 or even 11, I believe. You just want to, get your resolution, aspect ratio, however you deem fit. Now, my current settings are generally low just to help improve a little bit of the stability and frame rate. So I have no anti-aliasing, have Bill and R filtering, which is the lowest you can go. I have no vertical sync, I'm using a program called Rivia Tuner Statistics Server. This is actually a free program. MSI Afterburner can help a little bit with your frame rate and stability. They're both very good uh, programs that you can use that actually do help this game. Uh, Another game setting you can do is the Windows Task Manager. I personally have heard. Ooh, was that affected? I don't think so. Okay. I personally have heard that running the game in a much higher setting, let's see, in a much higher setting would cause your frames to improve, but that also might just be a placebo. I don't know where it is right now, Left 4 Dead. Lagging a little bit because I'm running let's see here. I'm running Left 4 Dead and recording on this computer. Where be it? Where be Left 4 Dead? Here we go. So yes, if you open Task Manager, you want to check this always on top. So when you, of course, with your game, you want to have that on because your game will always want to display on top, and your Task Manager will just always sit in the bottom. So you want to have it always on top. Minimize on this, I guess you can do that too. It's not a big deal. But of course, you can see all your performance things and everything from Task Manager. The hotkey for that is Control Alt Delete. If you do not know, let's see here. So Left 4 Dead 2.exe, go to details. Pretty general stuff if you, of course, I already have experience. So yeah, you can just set the like the priority for the game can run at. I actually run high most of the time. I feel like it's a little bit faster. Could be placebo. You want to test it out for yourself. You know, every system is different. Every system will react a little bit differently. You just want to make sure that, that's one setting you can apply that could help. And as far as Team Fortress 2, the master config said that it is just placebo. It doesn't work. Well, perhaps on a desktop it doesn't make any difference, but who knows? Maybe on a something like this it would. So you want to test that out. Windows 10 is a bit, or Windows 11 as well, maybe a little bit quirky on the settings, especially with something like this 32-bit uh, program here. Other settings you can improve on. Just give me 1 second to pop it up. Okay, so this is just another setting you can improve on. If you go to Windows graphics settings, okay, this essentially allows you to enforce protocol or like choose which graphics card or you'd like your computer to use or where Windows 10 to select pretty much. As you can see, Left 4 Dead 2 .exe is a file. If you'd like to be able to find it, of course, you just browse. It might take me a while, but we will do it. Let's see. So you go to this PC. You would go to your local C disk, program files 8x86. It's going to be under Steam, Common. Wait, Steam apps first. Steam apps, then Common, then Left 4 Dead 2. These are pretty much all your games here. Let's see, Left 4 Dead 2, Left 4 Dead 2 again, and the .exe file is somewhere here. It is. Can I guess it? Can I guess it? Somewhere here. 1 second. Okay, I made a mistake. So you don't click Left 4 Dead 2 again in this screen. So you go, it's common, Left 4 Dead 2, and then Left 4 Dead 2.exe there. Just click add there, and then it will add it on this little list. If you have a long list, perhaps, that we probably won't, maybe, if you're a beginner. Just select your graphics, your whatever graphics card you have. I have a GTX 960M. Pretty much is a 750 or yeah, 750 Ti or something like that. You just want to select the graphics processor. Intel HD graphics 520 isn't that really for gaming, of course, or not made for gaming. So Let us move on to another setting here that we can perform. Okay, moving on here. Let's see. All right. So since the update, there's been a couple different sliders in the option settings. The audio is pretty much unchanged, it looks like. Just gonna go briefly over this. Keyboard and mouse settings seem to be unchanged. You can, oh yes, it's under multiplayer. Let's see other settings they've added. They added a field of view slider. It used to be mainly controlled, but the developer console will go over. Let's see, so you can set the gore level here as well. It's been there. The game instructor you can disable if that's annoying you consistently. During gameplay, it will give you prompts to perform acts or help you during gameplay. Spectating free look should be enabled for you. Disable sprays, you may want to do that. Let's see, automatic discover land games, probably a new one. Custom server contents, you probably want to. Um, we're not focusing on that right now, but those are the general settings for the game. Steam Cloud. All right. Yep. So that's all you want to do for the game settings and launch options. Okay. So one other thing you can do is open the NVIDIA control panel. So you can do that by right-clicking your desktop, NVIDIA control panel. Now settings in particular for that may vary for this game. It really is trial and error. Uh, in particular, the game will prefer like a middle ground, middle of the road ordeal for my PC. But you just want to do it with trial and error with the NVIDIA control panel. My particular configuration for the game with the NVIDIA control panel, I'm just going to open my, I'm just going to open my, I have a screenshot of my settings here. 1 second here. And it's going to be NVIDIA config, yes. It's not open, huh? I don't know. That's okay. Too big picture, too big of a picture. But yes, the NVIDIA control panel is not too difficult to master. You want to do the same thing in the NVIDIA control panel. You want to select your graphics, your highest graphics renderer, which is usually NVIDIA or AMD's version of it, Ryzen or something like that. Not too keen on them as much, but they still make some good ones that will run, of course, this game. These are just my general settings I'm showing you guys. Pretty much I run everything off, and you know, you want to select the setting that allows you to customize it, of course. You don't want to use like, oh, best performance, okay, or the highest quality. You want to just use your custom settings like you can do here. Preferably, it might not matter depending on what your config is. This is just for you know, for the sake of having the proper settings for your particular game, of course, that would help as much as it can, right? So as we get that out of the way, oh, it finally loaded. It took quite a while. Yeah, so we're just gonna close it now. Sorry, it took too long. It's hold up now. All right. So now what we're going to focus on are the bots. Now the bots in this particular game, Left 4 Dead 2, they are not exactly the best if you enjoy single player. So we want to fix that before we even start, right? Uh, Now there's been a lot of mods, a lot of different opinions of which one's the best one or which one's, you know, serves the best purpose, of course. Now I would say or argue that my setting's the best, right? I would say eh, everybody else is wrong and mine is obviously superior. So I am just going to show you mine particular setup. I would oblige or I'll be open to criticism, but I would say that I've pretty much got it down to the teeth, okay? Do not worry about which one is the best right now. I would say, well, I do not focus on just my own personal, uh, it's just not all my creation. I've relied on a couple other sources, of course. So pretty much what I'm doing here is just going to my folder that has my collection essentially. So yes, I run everything on medium settings. I didn't mention that. You'll probably see that it really depends what your system or what you like. I hear people are crashing after the update on high shaders or something like that. I don't know. One second, let me find them out here. Alrighty, after a bit of soul searching, I finally found the dang add-on. Okay, so I'm just gonna pause on and off because I am looking for them in my folder. But the one I like to use is Human-like Survivor Bots, created by Error305, cannot load username. um, I think he's changed his name, but this essentially is an edit of, apparently from Competitive Bots Plus, and this essentially makes the bots better. Okay, now look, I agree, or I do enjoy this mod, but I kind of modified it just a little bit. It probably modified it to the point where it's not even the same config. I mean, I think this mod is essentially just editing a couple numbers, which I myself am arguing, or I have done modifications through the auto execute file, which is just modifying your cheats or your settings for the game through the developer console. So I'm going to discuss the next mod here, which will improve the bots. So you can just subscribe to that one through the workshop. Uh, if you don't know how to use the workshop, I will show you. Let's see here. It's very simple now. Go to library here, Left 4 Dead. Let us see here. All right, a little lag because I'm recording right now. And it's going to open eventually. Let's see here. Sorry. Yes, things are new. So it's not that difficult. You just go through the front page of your game here. You can go directly to workshop through the cog or one of the settings here. Triple dot. What do you call it? Etc. And you essentially just search human Lexa robots or whatever you want to search here, and you will find all the mods. And it's very simple. All you do is subscribe to them. Now, I will briefly discuss that you will not want to subscribe to them and leave them or have them load through the workshop because then you would have to load each and every last mod. If you have like a lot of mods or a plethora of mods like I do, then running them through the workshop will take a long, long time to load. So I will show you towards the end how to remedy this, okay? So do not worry about the loading times yet. But just make sure they're running and you can get them. Okay, so the next mod you should download. This is if you would like this feature. And Left 4 Dead 1, you could have activated this command without any mods or any launch options. You can just load it straight from the developer console, which is essentially just typing in, changing the setting. They do not allow that now. It's like a hidden CVR now, or cheat that you cannot activate in the server. This bots lead and sidestep. Now this mod essentially just is like allows the bots to lead you and allows the bots to sidestep, of course. That can be a pain. That can be very good, depending on how you like your gameplay. And now, I remember. I just remember because it's been a while since I've actually played a campaign game personally, but for this game, but I made like a setting that would allow you to go back and forth, like the bots lead or the bots stay close. and the bots lead. Like you know, I have it as a keybind that turns it on and off essentially. Now I said that was inefficient, but for this one, I mean, do you want to load a F file or like a auto execute for that? Probably not efficient or not worth it. So just a little switch. I will show you that. That's going to be quality of life, perhaps. Yes, that's going to be quality of life, single player. Yes, okay. Moving on here. The next bot improvement mods here. Okay, now this is, I believe, is the last mod that you will ever, well, desire. So competitive bots plus Apocalypse Edition. Now this particular mod makes the infected much more intelligent, much more, well, much smarter than the original or the default settings. Okay. One thing, if you've never played the game, is that the charger will not charge you off of buildings or refuses to charge survivors when they are in, you know, in the bot form off of like a dang rooftop. Now that when I play, I want to see like myself get thrown off buildings and get effed up. Usually in the default settings, the tank is kind of a pain in the rear end, or the tank kind of is the only one that does anything. If you're because you're maybe your teammate survivor bots are kind of, you know, not that good and the base settings. But once you have all the settings for the survivors, um, and I will show you the little switch on and off to have them follow you or remain close or far away or lead. Then you want your infected bots to be pretty dang intelligent. This is mainly for special infected. I think this applies to maybe common infected. I don't know, which are just the regular walk-in or run-in zombies that slap you in the face. So that is another great mod. I will share this little folder file of all my mods here. I've organized this and tested all of them, and they all should work still. So let's move on. I believe that's time. We are time to move on to Keybinds, Developer Console, Auto Execute Files. We will start with Developer Console. Okay, next step here to improve in Left 4 Dead 2 in 2022. Okay, now the last and final mod is Campaign Versus. Okay, so this essentially allows you to run a versus game mode. So let's see, how do I explain this? Okay, I will explain it, but I'm just going to explain it briefly right now because we will go over that, I believe, in the last section of this. Yes, the last section of this. But this is a kind of a crucial mode if you want to play versus mode in single player mode, essentially with the bots and all that. Uh, there's been a couple patches to the new version of the game, which is like you can't add or you can't put like 10 survivors versus or you can't like add more bot like survivor bots or a couple of exploits that used to be prevalent in the game you could do without any question, or it was much more simpler back before the last stand update. So this particular mod does work. Now let me tell you, uh, before I used to run through the developer console. You type the map name and then you type versus and the end. Now it didn't work. Sorry, now it didn't work for each and every last particular game or map. But with this particular mod, it will run in each and every single map. And I have a whole lot of maps. So to be able to run campaign versus this particular game mode, I would say that it essentially uh, is much more fast paced than a regular single player game. So the director is a bit more aggressive, which if you like a little bit more aggressive gameplay and you don't even care about playing as infected, you can play a survivor and it's much more intense and an intense experience. So if you like casual, or like if you're more of a casual player, obviously you stick the regular campaign. And if you enjoy going back and forth, or even selecting, let's say, selecting your something that's more fast-paced, you would choose this mod, which I'll show you towards the end of the video on how to actually get it running and functioning. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is the developer console. Now we've improved the bots, we've added the game mode, and I have not discussed how to run it properly yet, but we'll get to it. So, developer console, you may already know what this is, or so we're going to briefly go over it right now. Okay, now we're going to discuss the developer console. All right, now to sum it up, developer console is like the you click the tilde key, which is all the way to the left top corner, usually below the escape key. So when you click it, it'll open developer console. Now I think there's a setting in multiplayer you can enable it or disable it. Hang on one second. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I think there's a way you can enable developer console and disable it, as I was saying. I don't know if they got rid of that, but if it's not going through, you can edit your keys, and it should say somewhere here. Not sure. It's gonna be somewhere. Oh, there it is. Allow developer console. If it's disabled, you want to enable it. All is well and good. Yes, okay. So once it's enabled, you can click tilde, and it should come up like that. And now what this does is essentially run pretty much runs commands, or little command that you can input in the game. And let's see. You can see a whole lot of things. That doesn't really matter for us right now because we know everything's working. Let's see here. So, developer console. Developer console keybinds. Okay. Game settings. Okay. All right. Yes. So let's discuss the developer console first. All right. So when you are running the developer console, it's usually good practice to run SV cheats 1 in the beginning. Well, now what that does is enables or disables cheats in a single player lobby. Now, if you want to run cheats, you cannot do it going through campaign mode, single player mode, and all is well and good, and you can run developer console, run all your cheats. No, that will not work. And you cannot do it online, of course, because you can't cheat online. So you would just get banned, or something like that would happen, of course. People won't like you. So when you run SV cheats, you make sure it's on 1. And then to be able to run those cheats, you run map. Now what map is, okay, a little bit of stutter. What map is running maps. That's pretty much it. So let's say now the syntax of Left 4 Dead 1 is it starts with C1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. I think it goes up to 16 or something like that. Now 14, which is the last send update. So it's C to run the map, C number, mission number. That's the official campaign, so Valve set as the names, and you will find out which one's which. It's numbered, I think, in coordinates with the what number it is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's say the passing is number 2. Oh wait, the passing is not number 2. Dark Carnival originally was a number 2 campaign. So if I go map, stuttering, campaign 2, mission 1. It will load the highway map of the Dark Carnival mission 1. So campaign 2, mission 1, the name of the map, essentially. Now let me tell you that the modding community has not followed the syntax for good reason because it'll probably conflict with what they made. Uh, so let me just give an example of what map names could look like. So this is from my auto execute file, which I will show you later, which will probably be next, okay? So don't worry. Uh, Inevitably. So this is from the auto execute file, okay? So look, the same thing I was talking about, map. But look, there's different wordings, different types of syntax. So they're not all the same. So let me run an example of what it would look like if I ran a game, okay? I'm going to run through single player, and I am going to run a random map. Now let's say I don't know the name of the map, and I want to learn the name of the map. Let me run, let's see. Let me run something simple. Tamtara. Doesn't matter which map. You probably will not have any custom maps, but that's fine. But this is just a general example of where you can learn what the map name is if you're a complete newbie. Which is, if you want to use cheats, you will have to run through the map name, which will create your own dedicated single player server. Okay, so that's how you can run cheats, and all the they're called CVARs of the Left 4 Dead 2 game, which essentially allows you to modify the game even further, which mainly is done to improve single player experience. So here we go. It might take a while to load because I'm running a couple of other things. That's okay. Alright, so we'll come back once it's loaded here, or maybe I'll stick around, it doesn't matter. I can bring up another topic. So, as I said before, I used to run every single command through a keybind. Now, let's say I bind the key to load a map, and I run that map, right? Now, yes, you can do that, but just imagine doing that 50 times, okay? Do you have 50 keys on the keyboard? Probably not. So, uh, in theory, you want to have it all load at once. Everything that you've been able to, or you've decided to put into this game, as far as just simple commands that change little details, really, which actually do. I mean, just imagine all the little details that you can add and make the game better. That's what we're trying to do using the developer console, auto execute files, and keybinds, which are used sparingly in my instance. I will give a couple of examples of the keybinds that I utilize. There are plenty of CVRs or cheats that you can use in this game, so it should not come as a surprise that you will be overwhelmed with all of the CVRs that you can use. So the game's running pretty damn slow right now. Pardon my language here. As you can see, we ran this map through single player. So SV cheats, will not be able to come on. So look what it says here. You can't use cheats now. Please exit to main menu and start your own listen server with map and map name. As I discussed, you want to use this. You want to load map through the map name, essentially. But how do I get the map name? How do I get the map name? All I see is the official campaigns here. Well, A boring fix is just, or a simple fix is just to run through single player, look for the map, run the map, and then you click the developer console key, which is tilde, and you can see the map. It says, tells you the version of the game, and it says map in quotations. It should be the whole prompt there. Okay, so it's map Tantara. Okay, it's map Tantara. Okay, that should be the map. Okay, so let's cut it, exit, and we're just gonna run it again. I will show you that now you can run SV Cheats 1. All right, and I'm just gonna show you one simple cheat that is very common and commonly used. So give it 1 second here. You should probably run in a smaller resolution. Let's see. All right, we're now strapped for time because this does take a while to explain. Well, actually, I cut it. I can just copy it, okay? So that was a map name that was displayed there. Now I'm just going to run it through here. Now what you can do, actually, I should explain, is pre-run SV cheats, which essentially, I can just do it like this. I can just load an auto-execute file, which is in my launch options. So once I launch the game, it's already loaded. But once I leave a campaign and I was not allowed to use it, it will turn off. And I have to enable it again, essentially. So I have to enable it again. You can always check if it's on and off. I will show you here. It says 0. Okay, so right now it says 0, right? It's off. So we're just going to run the map again. Through this, through the console, we'll have your own server so you can run cheats. Okay, that's pretty much as explanatory as I can get. Now your name, you can see your name doesn't appear, but you will take over or take control of one of the bots here. Alrighty, so it is loading. A couple more things I can go over, I guess. So let's see, keybinds. When you're in single player mode, I don't know if I just went over this. I don't think I did. Okay, so keybinds, with keybinds, they're very useful functions you can do to improve the quality of life of this game. One keybind that I've chosen to do, which probably many people have already done, and I just haven't seen it or seen anybody else do it because they don't play single player probably as much. You don't really hear about it. But SB take control, which allows you to take over a survivor bot and take control of whatever. Now I think you can take control of like special infected bots, but I have not tried it. I think you cannot. I don't think there's any point of doing that because it's actually I mean I don't see a point of doing that. That's just relatively or uh you know thinking about that, but just taking over survivor bots is good enough because sometimes the survivor bots get stuck, and to get them unstuck, they have functions or they have a command called SB unstuck or unstick or something like that, which allows them to teleport. Which I used to turn that off, but when you're playing a lot of maps, you don't want to see them get stuck and not be able to move, and you can repeatedly move them again because they're stuck or one of them is stuck or something like that. Okay, so SV cheats. SV cheats is enabled. Would you look at that? Oh wait, I spelled it wrong. It's enabled now. Look at there. And 0. So I disabled it. So it will tell you when SV cheats is enabled or disabled through the little server CVR. It says 0. But now we can enable it because we are in our own personal map here through the developer console. And now SV cheats is enabled. That's just a simple way to explain it. So I'm going to go over a simple command that is basically used for troubleshooting a little bit. No clip or any other type of thing. What no clip does is set this on there, okay? Just turned on. To turn it off, you just type it again. That is just so you don't have to click, put a number there. No clip off, no clip on. That's the SV cheat. If I were to try to run it with SV cheats 0, then it would not run, okay? So yes, this is very beginner oriented. And I'll tell you, you need SV cheats 1. Okay, so I need SV cheats 1. Okay, okay. No clip. Now it's on. So no clip, essentially just you flying around the map, or have the ability to fly, or just use the W key to go through every obstacle in your way, essentially. This you don't you, well, I mean, I personally bind it to a key. So some of my binds or key binds, as I will give an example that I use, are going to be no clip, warp survivor bots. I think I cannot do that in this map. Yeah, oh, maybe I cannot do that, but I bind warp survivor bots. I'm trying to do that, but I guess I can't do that here. Another key that I bind is telling the director to stop spawning infected, and of course, the inverse of that is, oh, spawn infected, please. Then the other one I do is just stop the survivors in their tracks, which is just stop insert SB stop and on and off. Let them go, let them stop, or not move anymore. Those are commands that I do. Another keybind that I do is going to be. Let me just show you real quick to explain that a little further or in better detail. Okay, so I just decided it actually might be a better idea just to show you how where I go here. So, library Left 4 Dead to browse local files, which is the easy way to access your files, which without me going through this PC, C file, all that. So this time we want to go through Left 4 Dead 2, not looking for the exe file this time. We are going to go through CFG config, stands for that. And we're going to look at config.config. Now this is essentially your keybinds, all of your keybinds that you have decided to do. The default config is here, which if you ever want to revert to default, and if you mess something up, you're allowed to do that, of course, through the option setting. Not a big problem, right? All right, interesting stuff. So here are all my binds. Now the ones I'm going to go over is SB take, oh yes, I said SB take control. So these are the binds here. This is what it looks like once you type it into the console, right? Now you can try to edit it through here, but I've had issues doing that. Now when I say issues doing that, it's a little bit like it doesn't load properly or something like that. I'll give an example, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Take control of all 4 survivors. Now this oddly enough, it transferred to the other survivors, which were added or included in the game into this game. So Francis is like Bill or something, and Lewis is probably Coach or I don't know Ellis. I don't think so. But you can just swap between just clicking 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So then another keybind that I have is just kill everybody. Mainly because once you finish a map, which I will show you what the campaign versus mode. Once you get to the safe house, the game will not ask you or default to the next team or whatever. So you have to just essentially wipe to reload the map, and then and then you can change your team, right? If you've not played versus, then that will probably not make any sense to you, but it will make sense once I briefly explain it. I may explain that portion. Just know that you will find out. I mean, you will learn once you go through it that if you complete the campaign, we'll just move on. So it's better to just kill everybody. So let me go into spectate mode. I have a bind for that. And go into spectate mode. Just going to kill everybody. Okay, oh my god, that was sorry guys, I just ear ripped you right there, maybe even myself. Uh, that was a mod too. That the yell, kind of like TF2. Uh, but yeah, I think that's all fine and dandy. I think that captures the audio, right? I think so. I'm pretty sure, yeah. I was too loud, though. I'm sorry. All right. Not like you needed those ears, right? I'll probably put a warning there. All right. Moving on here. Another useful bind here. This, let's see if anything else here I want to go over. So as you can see, a whole lot of these binds are no longer in use. Why are they no longer useful? Because they're inefficient. I will say that I use give pills, give first aid, and give like the Magnum. I made all of one. Okay. But yeah, that's a useful one because I don't want to type again and again. Uh, because when I'm in campaign versus, I try to keep things balanced and make them run clean or smoothly, right? So I want to keep it balanced in that game mode personally. So let's see the other thing, separation. Yeah, so my Q key increases the range where the survivor bots will run. So if I have SB leading on, then they will just take off on their own, essentially. Mostly, not all the time. They'll come back. They're made to come back. And I made the E key to have them have a shorter distance. Now this is a custom, my own personal preference or numbers that I included. Now I made E the default in my auto execute file, which it will not, unless I click Q, it will not change or be modified, utilizing it. So in versus mode or campaign versus, you can change it, but you want to keep it lower because when you're the human player, you cannot have SB leading or in versus in that mode either. So I mean, to keep things balanced, you just want to keep them close, near to you, and near to you guys, or near to your player. So all these other ones are old. They are not relevant anymore. You can add like a bind to kill an infected or something like that. But there you go. SB stop, which was the switch. Director start, director stop. SB stop 0, SB stop 1 should be somewhere there. Z and X. Director start. SB stop. Um, yeah. But those are the ones I particularly use. Now, another bind that I do use is bind F5 join team X. Now, the reason I'm not explaining it through the developer console is that it's relatively simple to do. Uh, I will show you how to do it, but essentially, this is the syntax. You put bind. Let's take a look here. Let's see one. I'm going to choose join team X. Now, join team X is spectators. Join team 2, I believe, is survivors. Join team 3, I believe, is infected. Those are useful commands as well. Now, these keys are also important, okay? Uh, this portion, execute auto execute dot cfg. Now, I have a total of 3 auto execute files, okay? So, what that essentially means is it's going to run whatever is in that file, which is like running the bind again and again and again. You probably already know this, but if you're a beginner, very, very valuable to use. Um, so let me run an example of making a bind here. I'm just going to lower the volume this time because it was a little bit louder than I like, right? Everybody was a little bit awake in there. I'm sorry about that. Probably just do it through here. I did not need to run it to max. If this game is a little bit loud, you may want to have this little program here. What is it called? Equalizer APO 1.21 configuration editor, which allows you to alter sound settings. That's one thing I didn't mention, huh? Because sound settings in this game is pretty damn weird. You cannot like balance it very good. They sound good, but it's just freaking loud. I mean, it's just one setting for music and that. So that's one thing they could have improved on, but that's fine. I'm sure there's other ways you can alleviate your sound needs. Okay, so moving on to keybinds, we are going to do, okay, as I said, bind to the console tilde. You enabled it. Quotation mark. Now you can bind any key. It could be F1, could be M, could be N, H, Y, U, or anything like that. Okay. You just choose one key you want to do. Now, of course, you want to learn which keys are like the default ones and which keys you're going to use, which keys you're not going to use. That's pretty self-explanatory. So essentially, all you can do is you can bind the key to run SV Cheats 1 if you wanted to, right? Now, I'm going to say that's pretty inefficient because you want to have it running with an auto execute file, which runs all your files that you would like to run. Um, Now, to save you the pain of experimenting through each and every last command configuration and okay, you just don't want to deal with that. Of course, this is a guide that is trying to help show you how to alleviate without, you testing each and every last thing. So if I did bind SV cheats 1, it would turn SV cheats on, but it will not turn it off because it is not set to 0. So if you do another one, let's say you do O is on, and you say P is 0, which is off. So then you can alternate between O and P to turn it on and off. So is that viable? Yes. Is it efficient? Not really. And you don't really turn off SV cheats unless, well, you really never have to, unless you just want to turn off cheats. Want to run the game vanilla, which you're not here to do that. You're not watching to learn how to do that, anyways. So here we go. We are an hour in almost. We've gone over a little bit of key binds. And if you test that, what I recommend is you put in your binds and you quit the game and you join a game again. You want to run get a simple test map or like a little Tumtara map that doesn't just a simple map to load that's a little bit faster to load. I would say, and then you just test the bind and make sure it's running good. You probably don't even need to check your config.config, and you may want to check it just to see if it's actually rendered or it says the command you're trying to have in there. But yeah, that's it. Okay, so let's see here. We are going to go over the next thing here, which is auto execute files. Now, the illustrious or the sacred auto execute files. Once I discovered this, it made a lot of things much more simpler and easier to understand. And, well, not just easier to understand, but just allows you to open a whole lot more. Now, look, we are in, let's just show you where here. So we're going to, okay, library, game, Left 4 Dead 2, browse local files here. Do the settings, cog of the game, Left 4 Dead 2, CFG, config. All right, moving on. Look at what I have here. So, config.config, as we said, is just like your binds, your just general keys. You can always revert to defaults again through the options menu if you screw something up. It's not that difficult. It happens. It's fine. Don't worry about that. Auto execute.config, auto execute auto execute 2.config, auto execute 3.config, auto execute 4.config. Now, as we speak about auto executes .configs files, All it is just a notepad with a bunch of settings you chose to input into the game. And as I said, I binded a key. I binded a key. Let's see. Did I? No, didn't close it. Okay. So I binded F10. The key that I binded is F10. Can you guess? Can you guess which key or what's the syntax of if I wanted to bind F10 auto execute? Okay, I can say it. It's pretty simple. It's bind quotation mark F 10 quotation mark space. Okay, I didn't say space the first time. Quotation mark E execute, which is EXEC space auto X same spelling. Okay, I was just trying to make a little game that to make you think, but it's bind F10 execute auto execute.config and it's F10. Now look, to run it in the main menu, all you do is click developer console and hit F10 for me. Auto execute.config loaded. Don't worry about all that. That's a bunch of custom things there. But that essentially means that it's been loaded. All right. So I will show you here. Let's see. So auto execute. This is the auto execute file that I'm utilizing right now. Now this is the main file. I have 2, 3, 4, but this is the main file. And guess what? I have it in my launch options here. Wouldn't you know it? And let's see, where is it? Where is it? Somewhere there, but where? Allow leading, these available cores. There you go. Auto execute plus auto execute.config. That will run it when you launch the game. Now, once you launch the game, it will be an SV-Cheats 1, correct? That is correct. Once you launch the game, it'll be an SV-Cheats 1. I can give an example of that, but I'm not going to wait, not to waste time, and just take my word on it. It will run unless you have a little error in the syntax and the launch options, like you didn't do something right. Just copy and paste it, and somebody has a guide that will give the correct syntax. It should not change. It should not be alternate. I mean, you can change it. There's some variations of it, but you preferably do not want to change the way I have it spelled, essentially. Feel free to try any other formats or syntaxes, but that's the way you perfectly want to try it first if you're trying to be a beginner here. So look, my auto execute has like a whole lot of things here, and I'm going to strive to provide this file through, something like Google Drive, probably some type of file sharing thing. But we'll probably just do a description. I don't know if it'll fit there. But this is quite a bit. All this stuff is just a bunch of random things. But look, do not worry about all this crap in here. Uh, what the Now look, all this above this portion are all things that I would have to bind to the keyboard. You see SVGs there? It loads along with all of this at the same time once I hit F10. Now, that is very, very useful. Now, there's a whole lot of quality of life things that I will say that do improve the bots personally. As you can see, this command Z spit spread delay 0. Now, that's just personal preference. Whole lot of things are just personal preference. You can change these values, which is a good thing, and you can play with them. Now, dash dash forward slash just and this in the programming language of if you do not know just means like a little notation or you're just making a notes which disables everything in front of it. So you want to make sure to have everything before it, and slash slash is just notation. That's just the syntax of the language of that particular programming language. That's pretty much what that is. So slash fast forward. It will not load, it's just notes. I just put 20 original. Yep. A whole lot of things will be included here. All you have to do to have one running just like it in your game. Well, the next thing I will explain is this. All echo will echo this into the developer console. It will just load it as text, whatever's in front of it. So these are all just the map names, so I don't have to look it up. Well, the first one only. I didn't put each and every last one. That will take maybe a whole lot more. It's already a long time just doing it one by one, so you can see why. Admin system mod, we will go over the quality of life section. Uh, so that sounds good. All well and dandy. All the execute files, keybinds, yep. Developer console. Do not worry about this yet. I will go over that. I will go over that. Do not worry. All right. Moving on. So, what I was talking about here, which was, it was, let's see, so no longer config. I was talking about all these commands. So essentially all these are only enabled through svcheats1. If I had this set to 0, none of them would load. You cannot forget that. And then once I had it to 1, // means I didn't want it, or it's just notation. But the rest, without any of that syntax, it will just load and load it, and all this did get loaded. Syntax in, or // don't, that means just don't load it, or it's just notes. It's like words or that do not render like echo does. It's just notation. Echo just means you're loading it to the developer console, shows you it there. And then everything there loads. That's just a bunch of stuff. The quotation marks don't mean anything. This is just all a bunch of words or text. This is well, echo, echo, echo. You can see it through there. See here. It's giving you the example. There you go. That just execute loaded. You can see there. Echo just paints a little picture. Someone did that. I did not make that one. I did not make that art. I'm sorry. So there you go. It's just a useful thing that you can actually see if it's loaded or not. So you can literally put like let's give an example here. svcheats1. You can say echo. Well, I can actually just make a new one, can't I? Because I am an able-bodied person that can do that. So let's see. I'm going to open a notepad file. Now look here. That might take a while to load a notepad file. But I am just going to go over as much as I can, you know? And you can skip over whatever you want to see here. Those who stick around, well, of course, they'll learn a little bit more. Let's see here. Let me organize a little bit. Okay, here we go. We're going to make another autoexecute file using what we learned. svcheats 1. Okay, that's the first one command we learned to run cheats. Okay, svcheats 1 is on. Now, let's do something simple here. We're not going to run a map. What we just want to do, okay, so we're going to do echo just to display on onto the developer console. That's just what that means. You add a space, and we're going to say echo. We loaded SV cheat 1. All right. Now we're going to save it. Really, the desktop for now. We are just going to rename, copy the name, paste the name, .config. But wait, we want to make it, I have how many auto execute? I have up to 4. We'll name this one 5. Why not? It's on the desktop now. There it is. We're going to cut it and we're going to paste it onto here. All right, and guess what? Guess what? It loads right away, so you don't have to reload everything, the whole game, to run it again. Now look at that. Auto execute 5 is there. Auto execute 5 is there. Now I had it, everything through a bind, of course. I said it was F10. If I do it through here, same thing. Auto execute file loaded. You saw that? So execute, we are just going to execute auto execute 5 now. Now guess what it would say here? Uh, we loaded SV cheats 1. Execute auto execute 5. Well, there you go. SV cheats 1 must be on. So let me give another example here. Let's say we're not going to run the map right now because it'll take too long. But let's see. Now we want to change it to 0. Turn it off. Cheats. Turn off cheats. It's going to be in the same auto execute file. Just for example here. All right. So we just saved it. Make sure you save it so it'll run. All right. Be on there. Execute auto. Nope. I misclicked something on my hotkeys. It does not recognize it right now because we're not in the game. Execute auto execute 5. Okay. Now we loaded SV cheat 0 as we've saved it as a 0. So that is just auto execute. That is all you have to do. It seems a little difficult. It may seem a little stressful, but guess what? What you can also do is add no clip. All right, echo. We loaded no clip. It is an on and off switch. So no 1 or 0. Yep. All right. There we go. We're trucking here along. Dandy. Learning. So execute auto. Execute. Yep. Very good. 5. Now did we save it? It says we did save it. I'll just close it. Okay. Now should run. Would you look at that? SV cheats 0 and we loaded no clip. It is an on and off switch. Same thing I just typed there. So all Echo does is just load text on the developer console. It is a valuable reference if you're a beginner. Now, when you're learning, you want to test things consistently, and that is a good way to do it. I will not recommend loading Echo every single time, but you can do it if you wanted to make sure you're getting things good. It would also probably be useful if you echoed each and every last command, and you can echo uh, // it was on off. Uh, I don't think it will load if you do // forward. Wait, what did you do there? Hang on a second. Yeah, loaded. I don't know what happened there. I don't know what happened. I just want to see if it'll ignore the // I don't know if it does, because that's what that means. That means do not load. Okay, so it still doesn't load there. So // will call that to only load in your notepad, not through the console, or it'll ignore it, as you saw there. So if you want to take like a little note, you just maybe make your own little thing. Semicolon. I don't know what just happened there. And very simple if you want it to show up here. And that's just an example to make you help you understand. Config, yes. Unknown command, I don't know. Okay, maybe don't use that. I mean, they can just use a star. I don't know what happened there. Star, I don't know what happened there. It's just a little bit of testing there. Nothing too major, but it's useful when you're trying to get things there. Star. I don't know what happened there. Very useful tool when you're trying to learn all this. So we've gone over how to do that. Let's see here. Now, moving on. Here we go. Something a bit more fun than learning all this crap. We're actually going to get into quality of life, single player improvement, which we've already done with the bots, and third person mode, which is my personal favorites. Okay, now to even begin improving the game's quality of life, I would now highly recommend doing this step, repeating it. I would highly recommend doing this step now. Uh, the thing we want to get now is pretty much a very useful mod that was developed way back yonder when I blew up my computer and filled it with viruses. But that's for another occasion here. So the mod we want to load is called Admin System Mod. Now your beginner may have not heard of it, okay? But what Admin System Mod does is allow you to load hidden CVRs. Now, when I said, what was it? When I said that in Left 4 Dead 1, you can allow the bots to lead through the developer console, and then uh, you don't need to do any other modification what do you call it? Editing like the little server configs. I'm not too keen on that stuff, but all I know is that it does not load in Left 4 Dead 2 through the developer console because it doesn't edit specific parameters to have it function uh, just with the developer console command. But what admin system mod does is just allow you to load hidden CVRs that do not show up in the developer console. Okay. Now I'm just looking for it right now. I hope I can find it. No, here it is. Admin system model created by Rayman1103. Again, go to the workshop, you can find it, or you can go through my little folder and find it here. Well, if I do provide it, I should be able to provide it. Should be not a problem. Steam is pretty reliable, and yeah, it's very simple to find it through there. All right, now admin system on. Looking at the auto execute file, I'm going to explain it. My main file, what I had here. Okay, now look, what we had here. Let's see here. Admin system on. Now I put that. It's a little notation notes. Okay. Now what admin system on does is you can say a command. Now say a command just means you typing it into the text box which you communicate with your players or other players, and just use a little the syntax exclamation point CVR, and then you load that CVR of choice, and then now I put semicolon because that just means next, kind of like next line, I guess, for the next command, and wait 100. Now that is a completely different command. That just means wait a little bit before you run everything, because when you are loading text through the text box, if you try to run it all at once, it will just think you're a grief or a hacker or some type of a malicious person. So you cannot load everything at once. That's the main idea there. If you load everything at once, then big problems, you cannot load it all. So 100 just means like a specific time amount. You can make it 500, you can make it 200, you can probably make it 1000. It will just increase the amount of time it will take to load there. And that's it. It's pretty simple. Sorry. So, as we utilize this feature, I'm going to give you a brief, well, let's see how I want to go about this. I will have to give an example because I'm comprehensive here. Let's go back to map tumtar. Well, a little bit, let's go to a different map. This map is just a different one that I know the name of already. I think it'll load a little bit faster. Okay, as we are loading here, now we are discussing something that involves a mod, that involves quality of life, that involves the game feeling a little bit better. All right, sounds good. Now, admin system mod, yes, as I said, it loads hidden CVRs. Now, where do you find those CVRs? Uh, they have been made available publicly, but really, they're a quick Google search. You can find them all through uh, Google. You type Left 4 Dead 2 CVAR or developer console commands, and Valve has actually made them all publicly available, like in a Word document or something like that. I will try to provide it and do all that good stuff, or provide a link, which I will write that down so I don't forget to provide that. So I should provide the workshop content, and I will provide the, let's see, the I just said it, the admin system.
I'm grabbing some first aid.
No, the console commands. Console commands. There you go. So I will try to include that in the video description. All right. So I hear some survivors shooting here. Do not worry. My game is lagging a little bit because it's a little bit it's a little bit loud. I don't know if it's too loud again. Jeez, this game is loud. I mean, as I said, the program, as I discussed, should help. Now, what are we trying to do again? We're trying to test out admin system mod. Now, look, I already have this mod subscribed. Once you subscribe to this mod, it will automatically load and it will automatically run uh, properly. Okay? Do the workshop, it's fine and dandy. Now, we're not discussing how to make it more efficient yet because, as I said, the workshop is a little bit slower than putting it in the folder, putting your mods in the folder. Now, look, right now, what we are going to do. The default key to speak is Y, I believe. Chat speak. There's also team speak. Oh, there's also team speak. Uh, the survivor, of course. So there's a syntax for it. Admin system on CVR. It'll also my caps lock is on. Sorry. It'll also say let's see, for an example. It'll also say specific little special commands that he decided to put in there, which are very, very useful. I would like to add. So it is a very, very useful mod for quality of life changes, particularly for single player. I mean, when you're in multiplayer, it's kind of a balance uh, as far as the gameplay wise. But look at that! I just put CBR no clip. Oh, it didn't work. That did not work. CBR. Um, okay, that's one that probably doesn't work. 0. Okay. Did that work? Okay. We loaded this map to develop console. Okay. Sorry, I did not have an example lined up here. So I am just going to utilize one that is here already. Okay. Now look, the say command is essentially you typing in to this command prompt. Now let me pause. When I said the wait command is just to slow it down a little bit because it doesn't you don't want to seem like a griefer or something like that. According to the console at least, right? When you're in single player, I mean you're not a griefer, obviously. Um, so let's see here. I'm just going to take one example here, which is very easy to see here, okay? So one example that I can show is very easy to understand is it's going to be maybe it's going to be this one, I believe. Flashlight brightness. Now that's pretty self-explanatory, but the general consensus is this, okay? Exclamation point CVAR flashlight brightness. Now the default is already there. Oh, you just saw it. It wasn't loaded already because I didn't click F10 before I loaded the game, or I didn't. I can load it now. But if I click F10 now, it'll just run it, everything that I have in my auto execute file. Now you can observe the wait command is currently loading each and every command, right? Pretty neat. You will, depending on how long your list is, you will have to wait a little bit longer sometimes. So, and from what I've seen, it all probably will not fit in that dang file or notepad file. Um, Seems a little slow, but that works for me. Um, I mean, that's about how the loading times are in this game. So now guess what? That was the main file, but I have another auto execute file and another bind to load that auto execute file. So all I'm going to do is just hit F9 and they'll load my other one. Now the reason I made another one is because it's because of it was too long, as I said. It was not loading each and every last thing. Now the last one I did, hmm, the last one I did, I just included a little text box entry. I think that's number two. I'll execute number two. I do not remember which one it was, but I'm just going to show you. There you go. Same exact syntax or the same exact thing I put there, like the say command, uh, CVR command, and then semicolon to load the next wait, whatever number you want to put, or how fast you can get it to load. I think 100 is fast enough. You can probably get it to load a little bit faster, making it a little bit lower, but I'd use that time. Now look, F10, F9. That's the only buttons I use to load all that stuff. And that, let me tell you, that is what I call quality of life. Not a lot of people do know this by now, I'm sure. And but for a beginner, to be able to load all that stuff, pretty dang useful, especially when you want or when you would like a good single player experience, right? And that's what I'm trying to provide here. And you can give it take. Now, as you can see, I just loaded, or when I hit the command, I loaded in third person. Now, once I hit that auto execute original file, main file, I loaded all this stuff. That was essentially loaded all in like 1 second or something like that. Uh, so that's it. That's all that was loaded just now. So there you go. Each and every last thing. And if I want to unload it or not have it not load, um, well, I think I just put SV cheat off. And I will not have it anymore. Yep, and that's pretty much vanilla settings. If you want to turn it off, right? It's one way so you can do it. It's probably another way, which is deleting the file. Haven't tried that yet, but you can probably do that. Now, you can let's see, you can have like a plethora of commands, right? Uh, there's really no limit to the auto execute file. With the admin system in conjunction, it is it is much more capable of, let's say, just giving the small details there. So it's a very long list that I have right now, right? Very, very long list. And that's just what I'd like to have loaded. Just and the reason we are using the auto execute or auto admin system is because all of these essentially are hidden CVRs. So let's say CL view blob, for example. That that does not show up here. The admin system mod allows it using this format or just typing it in through the chat box allows you to load it as was demonstrated, right? So that's why we use it. And that is why it's quite useful. Some of these are mostly tested, right? They mostly are, some of them work, some of them don't work. The hidden CVRs. There's a reason they probably took them out because some of them are just garbage or some of them are just not good. But in my opinion, I'd say a whole lot of these are pretty damn good for performance sake, for quality of life sake, and just to overall allow you to have a little bit more than just the average. I've noticed a couple of commands that are on the console that have not loaded properly or just did not load right or something like that, and I just moved it onto admin system mode because I know it will overwrite or take administrative or developer-like uh, abilities and be able to load it. So that is why we utilize that for quality of life sake. Now, of course, you can get mods that will improve the game. Let's say like this one, versus mode, infected vision, vision filter, yeah, like it just changes the color of the thing. No, the admin system mod will not override it or anything like that. Will not break it, or it will not break your game, anything like that. Uh, I'm not using that mod currently. I think it was a different one I'm using. Um, I'll try and find it right now, but the admin system mod works with conjunction of all the other stuff, so it's not gonna cause any problems. All that I have discussed so far does not cause any issues, or should not cause any issues with any other conflicting mods. All right, so do not worry about compromising the game or just breaking the game. If everything fails, then you can verify the integrity of files, which is very simple to do. I won't demonstrate. Well, I probably could, but uh, it's fine. Just know you can verify the integrity of files, which is essentially just a repairing of the any broken files you've committed, or they're just any files that are just compromised, essentially. And just re-downloads them. Software infected vision. That's the one I was using, or I am currently using. I had both of them in there because I was testing them, but that's the one I preferred. It does not conflict anything. You can probably change it. I have not bothered to change it because this mod is working efficiently and doesn't cause any issues. And why would I want to modify something that you know that works perfectly fine? Suddenly Ghost Spawn Infected Ding. That is just a little mod to turn off a specific sound cue when you're playing as infected. That's quite annoying. That is a very good quality of life one created by Yak. I've backed up most of these files here. That is a very useful quality of life one. Another quality of life one that I would recommend. Well, as you can see, all of these are just maps and improvements here. LED flashlight by this guy. You can choose whichever you want. It doesn't matter to the workshop. Uh, but that's the one I prefer, okay? And you can go through all this. It's not a big deal to improve like the textures, the lighting, whatever you want really is in the workshop already. Okay, and yeah, it's not a big deal. You can utilize everything here. Now mods can be conflicting each other. Um, One thing that's pretty useful to do is it's been a while since I've used this command. I think it was add-on hide conflict dialog. No, it was ignore. It was SV or VPK. No, SV add-on. I just forgot what it was already, huh? Um, hmm. So let me get it real quick. I know which one it is. I know where it is. Okay, so I just relearned it. It was called CL Ignore VPK Association. It'll probably be set to 0 for you. You can set it to 1. What that does, it just ignores any conflicts and just overwrites them and allows you to see or have them load. You can also activate show add-on load order. Do the main menu is probably the best place, but you can see which one's loading first and which one's loading last. That is it. That is all that shows to the developer console. Okay, so, oh my god, it's a little loud, right? That scared me. Fudge, why is it so loud, man? I mean, I'm gonna edit out, maybe. I probably won't, I'm sorry. I probably will not. It's probably best ever, like it's so low. Uh, Fudger. Okay, sorry. Sorry, guys. Okay, now the next thing I was looking to get into is third person. Now, let me be honest, first person does have a whole lot of uh, you know, just field of view, nice angles, and that's it, right? Now, third person in this game to get running right is a little bit more complicated. Uh, I will say that a majority of third person mods or workshop things that I've seen never satisfied me. And that's kind of sad because I was looking forward to having a third person experience. I'm more of a third person player. And to be honest, a whole lot of mods that I have like effed up first person animations or they just don't load right or something like that. Uh hmm, let me just load here. Uh so yeah, that's just the auto execute file. Uh Dang it, I don't want to spawn more right now. Uh okay, I don't think they spawn. Uh, so third person's just a little bit more complicated to get it like in a good format, quality of life. No, I can just sit here and say that I've already discovered a perfectly well and working format to have third person running. Yeah, just get my add-on and run it. Now, the way I have it running right now is it's all through this file. Very easy and very simple to have it running, right? So right now, what I can say is do not worry about it. I believe that's what I'm gonna go with, because it was all these commands, and that's it. All these commands, yes, it was all these commands that run that third person view angle. Everything else is kind of just like modifications or gravy, right? So yes, what you can do if if you don't like the particular angles or the particular the setup that I have, you can just change it. You can easily change it. Not a big problem. You can modify it to your favorability and just manipulate the values. You really don't even have to type anything into the developer console. You can just edit here and just save it click the hotkey or bind you have, and then it will change pretty rapidly without you typing anything. So that's what I would recommend if you want to just edit it a little bit. Third person quality of life. As you can see, the one that I have, maybe too close for you, maybe too far for you. The main one to change that is view distance. Right now is well, the way I have it is 80. Let's try like something weird, like 500. That's probably it's gonna look like a top-down shooter maybe. Way too far for me. But hey, you can play like that, not a big deal. The game will probably run a little bit worse, maybe, who knows? Um, you can do that, right? So, also the camera does not, well, sometimes it will shift through random objects that are not particularly made to do that, but there you go. I actually created my own little mod to be able to help people understand. It's called this one third person using CVARs that have shotgun sound with decent lighting. Now that was one problem I personally experienced. Like each and every last third person, uh, whether it was from a developer console, whether it was from a mod, it caused like the shotgun sound to disintegrate essentially, just not function or just sound weird. So the way I have set it up is that shotgun sounds load and everything works perfectly. It's essentially like playing in first person, but just having the angle way back. I had to modify the flashlight, just the angle, but as you can see, it's perfectly fine because I've edited that. Should not be a big deal. You can change some of the lighting and all the other stuff as was discussed, but that's essentially how you play third person. First person, I'm pretty sure is just FOV, and you just type in two commands, and there you go. You got your favorite angle for first person. Now, third person this game, oh, it's a little bit harder to get just right. I should probably try this config in TF2 too. Maybe it'll work a little bit. I have not tried it. I don't play single player TF2, but in this game, I mean, it's a little bit more special to be able to modify it single player because, well, let's just be honest, sometimes the online community can be a little crappy and just want to have a good time by yourself in such a cooperative game mode that runs very good and it's much better optimized than Team Fortress 2. I'm just saying. All right. Uh, no, I still enjoy Team Fortress 2. Don't worry. All right. I should probably play it more now than this currently. Okay. Now, we talked about getting it to run in third person, quality of life features, which are generally going to be mods for a beginner. But if you just follow my auto execute commands or files then and bind them properly, there's the keybind, then it should not be a big issue. Um, there you go. Single player? No, let me just be honest. As I said, campaign versus, which is just single player versus, just more fast paced. You can do this, or you can just run a campaign game, like just map. Oh, I should mention, default running the map to the developer console is just campaign mode, right? That should be a given once you do it the first time. Uh, I am going to show you how to run. Well, the next step is going to show you how to run a campaign versus mode single player. So we're just going to go over the single player mode, right? So let's go over that. Now, what I'm going to do, let's see here. How should I present this? Because this is all kind of on a whim. Um, all right. And it's quite long to explain all of this stuff that I have seen and been able to modify for this game. Can I explain it in 30 minutes? Ooh, I don't think I can. So, yeah, I'm sorry, guys. Uh, so, as we've gotten everything together, and as we've been able to get fix, we've been able to fix launch options, game settings. bots have been modified with the mods. Keybinds, developer console, auto execute files, third person quality of life settings if you choose to do those. We're going to get into single player, uh, particularly single player versus. Now, it's not exactly versus if we don't want it to be. So, campaign versus is going to appear in mutation folder in the setting in the main menu. So, mutation, infected co-op versus 102 can't wait. 102 campaigns. Okay, so yes, it's that one. So, what we are going to do, as I said, when you run a map through the developer console, when you first load the game, it will run as a campaign. So, what I have learned, or what is essentially the process now, we run a particular game mode. In this instance, it's going to be a mutation. And in this instance, we're just going to run it as a single player map or game mode. And that will change the default uh, developer console map load order, or like if I could say the game mode that is defaulted. So we're going to go through a single player. It has a random map generator if you have add-on campaigns. It said I had 192 maps. I think that's more than enough. I still have not finished each and every last map, and that's very depressing because I've had the time to do it, and I have not done it yet. And I guess it's a good thing to have more maps in the goddamn list. So we're just gonna run it a no mercy. Well, we'll run Swamp Fever campaign one. Difficulty. Now there's a command that I have in the auto execute which just makes it expert or any difficulty you want. That is done through a CVAR command developer console. You can do that just through the developer console, really. You don't need to put it, or I'm sorry, in the auto execute file, which is essentially like typing in or having it binded. Uh, so yeah, it will appear on the file what it is. But yes, so look, joining in or well, a infected should be an infected co-op versus game. All right, that sounds good. As we're loading, I should note you have SV cheats on. Or actually, you cannot run it as we saw when you're trying to run it through single player mode, or because you didn't load the map to developer console. No, the game will not run this mode. It will kick you out because it will say there's not enough human players. Uh, Now the remedy for that is just to has S3 cheats on one, and in the launch options you made sure you put SB all team survivor bots or something like that in the launch options that I said, and you will override it, and then you are able to actually type it into the console and have it load and have it run properly. Well, essentially, I describe it is you're now able to run it into the developer console, right? So that is essentially the two main ones to have you not get kicked out of the game. SB Cheats 1, well, you loaded the map through your own developer console, right? You turn on SB Cheats 1, then you have SB all, well, launch options. You have to make sure it's in the launch options to enable it, the plus sign, right? And you make sure you load SB All Bot Survivor Team through the developer console. As I said, it could be through a bind, it could be through auto execute, it will not matter. Right? All right. So I will just run around and display how it will not allow you to run the game, right? So everything is should be running normal, right? Everything looks normal. Okay. Wow, the lighting's real weird, huh? I don't know why. Anyways, that might be just one command I just have. Don't worry about it. If you see it, it might it's one command possibly. Right. It's called Mats Fong, Phong. Okay, if you have an issue with that, but you will see that it's not going to remain running. All right. It's running real nice right now. Why was it not running good prior? I mean, it's not running crazy good, but I mean, hey, I'm recording right now, right? Yeah, it better be. So, hmm, let's see. SV cheats zero. It's on zero, right? Yeah. Okay. I think we're going to be able to observe it now. Alright, let's see if it will kick us out. But if we do not get to see it, it essentially just shows you that it essentially just shows you that you're not able to run the game. There's shotgun in here. Damn. There's one up there. Oh, nope. It's alright. No, that's not a shotgun. Alright, let me kill the switch here. But yeah, I think it's because it's in the console. If you try to do it not in the console, it probably won't load. So I think through the launch options, it's automatically enabled now. Last time I checked, that's not the way it works. SV cheats is on zero. That's weird. It should kick you out, as far as I've seen prior. Alright. They might not even do it this time. It's weird. Alright. Well, we're not gonna wait for it. Okay. Okay, but look, SV cheats was on zero. If I tried to run SV cheats on one there, it would just say I am not allowed because I am not in my own listening server or loaded through the developer, right? Because the developer calls it that allows you to do it. But since we have loaded, as I said, to the mutation single player, just load any map, really doesn't matter which. You just load start. Don't care what the heck is in there, all right? What's loaded or randomly generated there. And infected co-op versus, that's a mutation that we had, right? Okay, now map name. You can load the same map here. Plain County, right? That's Swamp Fever if you don't know. Don't need to put anything else. You don't need to do this, the versus. You don't need to do that because it will automatically load. See there? It's joining a infected co-op versus game. Okay, let me not get ahead of myself here. This allows you to run SV cheats 1. As we've said, you can load through here and it will run cheats without any consequence, right? Without you getting kicked by yourself or by the bots. The bots will not kick you. So keep in mind, uh, this is the proper way to run it. Not might not be very efficient, but it's the way it works. I personally don't see any other way. I mean, I personally have wanted to have like a hard 8 mutation, right? And have this together with this. But that it overwrites itself. So I've not been able to discover the remedy for that. Um, I mean, I don't see a way to be able to do it. like two mutations at once, right? I mean, you can't do that unless you know how to mod, right? So I have not tried that. Now, if I run my auto execute, as we choose to change to one, right? Because it does that. So everything is loading properly. You can even run admin system mod uh, through this this server through the developer console. So I think even admin system mod won't even load through well, without cheats. I think it won't even load, like, so now everything's running, and you will not be under any stress to be kicked out or anything like that. So there you go. The game should run fine. Another command that's very useful if you is it gonna crash? It possibly might. It possibly might. Not a big deal if it does. Not a big deal. Okay, there you go. Right. Yep. I should probably lower the resolution because I'm recording, but whatever. 720 is a little bit more legible for you guys. I should be. So yes, the game. Oh yeah, the command. CL. You should probably have it. Oh my goodness. You should probably have that. You should probably have that in your auto execute file folder, right? CL. Okay, I don't know what time I paused there. Oh my goodness. Let me. Okay, I just paused because. Okay. Now the reason I just paused is because uh I have pause set to spacebar. That's the worst goddamn hotkey that I ever chose to make because I was in a rush in freaking studies, right? But if you missed anything, uh, geez, I don't even know what you might have missed. That's a real big problem. Um, okay, I may have to edit it a little bit, but if anything is missing, it will be rendered towards the end, okay? It will be included in the end. I will provide information. But look, the only things that have occurred right now, this is why I'm always checking if I'm recording, because this stupid hotkey there. It is on space though, huh? When I'm in game, it doesn't, it's supposed to not load. Okay. But the only things that we have performed right now is the only things that we have performed right now is, as we said, run mutation mod, single player. You run any map, doesn't matter. Make sure it says join in effect co-op, and you can quit, doesn't matter. And then the developer console, map name, you get it through there. You don't need to put verse at the end. And we're going to explain why we use this method. And of course, as we choose, I've already said it. Should be fairly common now. Okay, look now. Why do we use that method? The reason we use that method is because the old method does not work for every map. The reason we use that little method is because it doesn't work for every single map. So, yes, you have to go to mutations, single player, infected co-op versus, load any map, just start the game, quit right away. You can even put disconnect and it'll take you straight to the main menu. Uh, yes, you quit, then you, again, developer console, map name, make sure SB cheats on one, however you want to do that, right? Uh, make sure that's running, it's fine and dandy. The SB all bots game, auto execute, you load all that crap. And the reason we use this method, I'm just repeating myself because it might get over. Overlooked. Let's see here. I'm just gonna give another example here, okay? So yes, load any map. Don't even care which map it is. Just make sure it's joining a infected co-op versus game. Now the only difference I'm doing in this example is I'm just going to, and I also don't want to edit. I'm sorry, I don't want to edit anything. I don't have time to edit anything. My computer is a freaking potato. I'm sorry, guys. It's not that good at editing anything. That's why it's gonna be 2 hours long. I'm sorry. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. You just skip over whatever the heck you need information you need. Uh, okay, we're at the 2 hour mark. Wow. I think someone's gonna want to watch this, I'm sure, right? Okay. I mean, we will organize it a little bit, right? YouTube has a feature for that. I'll make sure about that. I'll make sure to look into that. I just want to get it out here. Okay. Now, just giving a quick example. I just hit a bind that just disconnects me right away from the map. Okay. So it technically doesn't even need to load in the map. You can just disconnect, bind, disconnect, and just you kick out yourself out the map before even loading the game. And then just tilde. That's a little bit more efficient if you want to do it that way. Okay. uh, but if anything else fails, though, you can just load in the map, then you quit. Okay, if that fails, that's a good detail to bring up to make it more efficient. And then, but of course, once you quit the console map name, you reload the same map. Once you got the map name, but that's probably a good reason to load into the map in the when you go through the first step because you can learn the map name when you click the developer console. As you can see the map name. Blah, blah, blah. You go back out, and then you quit, and then you just developer console again, map name, the same one, and then it should load. You do all the SB cheats one, you do SB blah, blah, blah. Yes. All right. Make sure that's good. Make sure it is good. I don't know if it's the game's gonna crash right now, to be honest. Um, this really is a crap shoot sometimes when I'm recording on this thing. And this is why I don't record often. There you go. But yeah, and it should be loaded. I've not seen it fail. Uh, it could be a different map if you want. That wasn't the. Could be any map that will run. Okay, any map will do it. We'll make it a default. Make it a default. Now, the reason why we utilize this method again, I feel like I did it because I freaking paused uh, the recording somehow. I want to make sure that's not missed. I mean, hey, I have the ability to edit a little bit. It's not fun when it's this long, of course, but yes, we have the ability to do it. So, the reason we use it is because the old method does not work for every map. Well, it works for every official map, but it does not work for all add-on campaigns maps. Now, you may be asking yourself, why does it do that? Hmm. Well, my answer is you can ask somebody else because I don't know. I really don't know why it would do that. No, speculation is mainly because it's too much like resources and the game detects that, oh, this is way too much for this type of game mode, and there's no way that it would run efficiently with all these players, and it will not be, the map is not made in the proper format with no climbable objects. Sometimes the boss are gonna run this way, a stupid scenario, and the players are at a disadvantage or whatever. You can speculate whatever it is. I don't know why. But let me give an example here, okay? Let me give an example here. Now, the map name will just get taken the same one, right? Plain County. If I add versus to the end of it, you're going to see it run properly. You're going to see it run properly. I'll give an example here. Well, just load up to that, huh? All right. But I'll skip over it. Let me just give the example. Like, you just type versus after one space after the command map map name space versus, or it can be survivor versus, or it can be mutation 1 or mutation 2 or mutation 3. The official names, right? The official names. I'm not going to go into that, but we're talking about versus right now. You can play around with it. It goes up to 10, I think, mutations. Yep. So it could be campaign or realism too. That's another one. To give it a name, you can test it out for yourself to test it. I think yes, the last 10 update added a single player option, but you can't put cheats in there. So I mean, that's the compromise. I believe you cannot, or maybe they changed it. Who knows? I don't know for sure. I haven't changed my methods since the last 10 update. They all still work, so I'm not changing it. I'd like the update, but yeah, I hear some problems. They're working on it. Hopefully. It seems like they are. I mean, of course, right? Can't just abandon it after all that work. But yes, that is why we use that method. Because if I were to load add-ons, maps using that method, space versus, you would see a blank screen, right? You would see a blank screen, and that would cause it to show you like some generic the four survivors surrounded by zombies background or portrait, and then it said it's loading, and then it doesn't load at all. So just know, because I'm trying to save a little bit of time, just know that that method is the superior method now, which I discovered, and it still works to this day. So do not worry about that not functioning. If you make a misstep, just repeat the process from the beginning. Okay, you can relaunch the game. Really, this works for any mutation, any game mode you load. Before there wasn't a single player setting. Last time update. There's no versus single player. Nope. So yeah, that's why I use this. We are using that method. Just know that. Yeah. There's a single player survival, no versus single player, no scavengers versus player, or versus player mode, or survivor, or single player versus, or a single player mode for those particular ones. All right. So, yes, that is how you do single player versus. All right. Good work on getting this far, guys. Even myself, even myself, I think I've gone over quite a bit. The first time I did this, it was pretty poorly executed, let me tell you. And this still is pretty dang poorly executed. It could be edited. I mean, yeah, anything can be edited, right? But let's see here. The last things we're gonna go over right now is going to be mods and troubleshooting to aid you in your future endeavors, right? So as was discussed, well, actually, for a little bit of quality of life's sake, as I said, you don't want to run everything from the workshop when you subscribe to it. So when you subscribe to an item from the workshop, you are essentially putting it into a folder, recorded, into a folder that's called workshop. All it does is download it, creates a little thing. And what you can do is just copy or cut the .vbk file and just put it into the add-on folder. Uh, oh, so yeah, just cut it and just put it into the prior folder, add-on folder. And yeah, that will make it run or load immediately because it's not waiting for the internet to update anything or any do that or anything like that. Now, I recommend backing up all your add-ons because sometimes they get deleted or sometimes they disappear. Some of the major ones, they're not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere. Don't rest assured. It's been a good while, so you shouldn't worry about that. But there's a couple that I've actually have gone away from the workshop, uh, and I forgot what the heck it was. That's why I have like the long, gigantic list of map names and map all that because I am tired of losing maps and I'm tired of going back and looking for the dang map that I have lost, right? So that is the reason why I've done that and back up everything and the reason we load it on the add-on folder instead of the workshop folder is because it's much faster. And it, of course, I think after you load it once to well, think about it. I have 50 gigabytes, almost like 50 gigabytes of mods for Left 4 Dead 2. Do you think I want to ever sit and wait for all my add-ons to load from the workshop or download from the workshop? Because while it is downloading from the workshop, it will slowly appear on your workshop folder, right? Once it's done with that, I mean, just transfer it to the add-on folder and it'll load much, much quicker. Now, that is very, very useful when you want to save time. And of course, it's not like a dang, you know, like you just don't want to wait at all. I mean, you just don't want to sit around waiting for the damn mods to load. It's just way too much time, right? So, highly recommend doing that. As far as troubleshooting goes for the game, it's very simple, right? You collectively and slowly insert your mods. Now, the collection that I have provided, they all should work together. Some of them are kind of placebos or like uh, things that I do not use anymore. So you can selectively pick which one you want, which ones that you want or desire. I recommend testing them all or like, common sense, right? Some things conflict, some things don't conflict. Let's see. If I can, what were we talking about? Workshop? Yeah, I was talking about the just troubleshooting, right? So if I go to properties, I can verify the verify integrity of game files. It says, so yeah, all you do is click that button, exit running game. So you have to exit the game, then it will essentially fix your file. That's pretty simple and basic. It's not that hard to do, and it'll help you recover your compromised files. There's controller support for the game. Yep. As far as quality of life goes for that, I mean, you can bind keys and you can put keys on the controller. Okay. So let's say I have like an Xbox controller. I think the PlayStation 4 controller is a bit more better uh, for like putting commands on there, binds on there. It's actually very, very, very good. Because if you don't know, the middle button is like a touchpad, and you can like have a radial menu. It's very useful. The PS4 is probably the best if you want to have binds and You can load them there using the Steam layout, but the Steam layout does compromise a bit of the maybe the frames. I mean, just the performance. It's not even that big, but that's one thing to consider. If you want to play with the controller, if you're the type of person that likes to play with the controller, I recommend the PS4 controller just because of all the buttons you can put on there. The middle, but you can use the Xbox controller, doesn't matter. You can just have the keyboard right next to you and just click the well, you have to type, right? You still have to type. So I mean, I still had it right next to me, the keyboard. I mean, no, it's not gonna be all controller. That's no way using the developer console and all that. But yeah, you can use the controller, yes, with all these settings. It doesn't matter. Um, I will just bring up a couple of other things. Just the mods, yes, they are all in that folder. The last few things I would like to discuss. It's going to be spectating. Should I discuss spectating? Um, yeah. So that's a bit of quality of life thing. So we're going to run, well, it doesn't matter what game mode you're in. I'm just gonna run campaign 1, mission 5. Wait, mission 4. Yeah. Alright. Okay. I'll execute. I'm just going to give an example of spectating. That's it. You know, spectating can be a little bit of quality of life uh, ordeal. Uh, Let me see. In my auto execute file, let's see. I spectated the last time I used spectating as a tool was learning about the firing ranges or like improving the bots, right? The survivor bots and their shooting. In my auto execute file, I included commands that kind of alter the ranges they shoot or the ranges they discover things, or the amount of blah 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 they did something, right? And they're just little commands from the for the CBR or cheats, CVAR cheats. Um, but yeah, spectating is pretty simple if you want to troubleshoot anything for this game. And it's also a little bit fun to kick back and watch the bots kick ass, or see which one will kick each other's ass. I like to have it on expert mode or expert difficulty, so the games are not too dragged on. Really, if somebody makes a mistake, it's cost them a lot. Or if there's a good play, it's pretty much someone's dead. So it makes it a bit more like chess. Or if you want to put it on easy mode and have the game damn near last so long that okay last so last so long that you know I just have that in there if I can. Okay, last so long that you know way too long. This video is too long. But it's just a comprehensive guide. I mean, you want any information, this is the video you watch. What the heck? Database update. Yeah, whatever. Not right now, not while I'm recording a video, man. Damn machines don't care. Alright, so this is the longest loading screen you'll ever see of this game in my damn setup. Okay. And yes, the auto execute file is like strangely loading. You just reload it to have it load everything. So I binded this key or this command, join team X, join team 2. Wait, ooh, join team 2, just an example, right? Oh, join Oh, I don't know. I think it was space? No. Join team 3. There you go. Join team 2. Should be survivors, right? Okay, there you go. And join team X. You can bind all those. X is spectating. And that's it. You can just observe the computers or the AI. Very useful just to learn how they react and all that with your settings. But you probably don't want to do it for too long. But once you have, well, with mine, then there's really no other way I think you can improve them. That's just what I personally feel. But yeah, there you go. You can free roam if you don't like following the dumb AI consistently and just look at the map. It doesn't matter. One thing I noticed, let's see, first person, does it have a little error glitch? I don't know, the flashlight glitch. Let me just note that I think the flashlight, oops, I think the flashlight, no, I think it's fixed with this setup. But I like to spectate in third person. Now sometimes sometimes the map is so ungodly dark that third person is like spectating in complete darkness. I would say just up increase your contrast. You can actually hotkey that or like bind that one. Or you can just put matte full bright, which is just it looks like this. Or there you go. I just binded that one. Matte full bright. I can think I remember how to type that one. Um, full bright. Let's just makes everything bright as hell. I don't like looking at it though. When I care about cinematics. But there you go. This counts as the versus game mode. I can join affected. I can join survivors. And there's a key that still activates that default key. There you go. Oh my goodness, it's so laggy. I hope your PC is able to render this better than when I'm recording. Because I mean, it's playable, but ooh, I'd be a little bit pissed off. Just a little bit pissed off. I had to run it like this. 2022. But there you go. Oh my god, that was the ninja jockey if I've ever seen one. Oh my god, where'd he come from? Alright. Okay. That concludes the little guide that I've provided. It was a bit, I'm not gonna lie, it was a bit, but all this settings should guide you in the direction to making this game much, much, much more enjoyable. The year, or well, 2022, right? So there you go. I mean, there's really nothing else that I can cover. I think, or I believe, I've gone over everything after 2 hours. I mean, if you give somebody 2 hours to do something, I hope they can explain themselves pretty well. All right. So yeah, that essentially covers it. If you are luck or were lucky enough to get this game for like $5 or something like that, There you go. You're on your way to improving Left 4 Dead 2's abilities to run its full potential. This is kind of the same as Team Fortress 2, right? Where where you can change HUDs and all that. Uh, a lot of mods or quality of life mods is like the HUD, just cosmetic or skins, whatever you like to have, the guns you prefer. It goes on and on and on. Now those are genuinely in the mods of the workshop mods. Once you download them, once you download them, of course, you can transfer them to the add-on folder and all that, blah, blah, blah. And to have them load faster, yes, to make sure that's out of the way. Once you have all that stuff, then hey, you're golden. But let me be honest, not all mods are created equal, of course, right? Some of them are crap, some of them are good, some of them bog the hell out of the game, some of them don't do that. And you want to know how long it takes to test each and every last one of them? Well, that takes a while. So I recommend you receive someone's guide, or you take in my guide, or you can create it yourself. It's not too difficult. It just takes a bit of time. There is probably more effort in obtaining mods or testing them than is obtaining them damn things. Let's be honest, the creators of this the mod community is very consistent and good. So I would say that there's not the ginormous issue of mods being broken. There are instances where people say that mods are malicious of nature. I have not seen that yet, but you want to be careful on Steam as well. It's a bunch of guys that are not very trustworthy. Let's just say. So that's you want to be careful with that. To further emphasize troubleshooting, if there's any crashes, you want to start by verifying the integrity of files. If it does not work, you want to look at your graphics settings, both in the game, well, in the game first, and then you can move on to your graphics card. And then you may want to update drivers. You update your game drivers, your graphics card drivers. There's other guides on doing that to emphasize a little bit somebody else's work, right? Uh, yeah, that's the general troubleshooting. To cap the frame, oh, there's actually, I think frames are unlocked now. You don't need a mod for that anymore. Quality of life section. You don't need to unlock frames anymore. I think it's defaulted to run at the highest possible frame rate. If I'm not mistaken, it's no longer kept at 60. I don't know. I think it runs a little bit better. Does it run better? I think it does a little bit. I think it does a little bit. A little bit more screen tearing, possibly, because it's a compromise for that. Yeah, I do like that. Uh, you can obviously overclock a little bit. You care enough. And that should conclude it. 2 hour and 30 minutes. I think that's all right. I think that's somewhat fair. Let's see. Yeah, workshop. Another little piece of troubleshooting is there is a bin folder, I think, that has your crash logs. I don't remember where they put them. I think it's here. No. Common, there it is. Left 4 Dead 2. Yeah. So as you can see, I think the last time I crashed was all the way in May 31st, 2021. Now I'll be honest, I took a break in the game a little bit. Um, but I can rest assured you that I experienced quite a bit of crashing, and that really pissed me off. I mean, that really did get me a little heated. But with all these settings and with all the fixes, or not even fixes, just the what is listed here in this video, there should not be any crashing. Okay, you follow the steps. Uh, Running medium settings, as I've said, I think is the most stable for source it or for source games. I'm not trying to degrade the people who use higher settings, but I think medium is just enough to get you by without any crashes or any real issues. If your PC is a little bit better, go ahead and run higher, but uh, there's just some compromises to be made with this engine, right? Man, you gotta draw the line somewhere. I think medium was where the game shines, at least as far as I've seen. I have not crashed for a long, long time. Let me just say that. So, is that evidence? I've dumped like a whole lot of or deleted a couple of them. I used to crash pretty often though, prior, and that was when I tried to play versus mode. But with this, I don't see any, man. I really do not. I think. Oh, wait. I think there's a couple. No, I don't know if that was during. That's probably during when I was trying to figure it out. Yeah, I think so. I think so. I saw some errors. But with this method, the campaign versus method, or co-op versus infected versus method, it's just I have not seen any issues, man. If you see any issues, let me know, and I will somewhat look into it. But that is a guide. That is Left 4 Dead 2 Improved 2022. Uh, no comments, no more comments, no more questions, right? I hope so after this video. Yeah, quite a bit has been explained. Alrighty, guys. Hope everybody is safe and all that. See you later. Okay.